Hello, everybody, and welcome to 10 p.m. with Galinsky. I am excited. Remember this, it only happens here, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook Live. Shouting out right now my partners in this show, Nuchas, Empanadas, and VIP Talent Connect, who today delivered hundreds of empanadas to the emergency room workers at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. So thank you to them. Also shouting out actortrade.com. If you haven't checked out actortrade.com yet, it's an incredible service where actors can run lines with each other online. Really great and free, run by an incredible guy named Dylan Mooney. Also want to shout out our simulcast partner, the Stage Network, watchstage.com. If you want to see great theater online, go to the Stage Network and you'll see some incredible archived and new theater. Tonight, very excited. Got some great people in the chat already, wonderful fans of the show. I'm super excited to bring to you a Tony Award-winning actress. She's been in television and film, brilliant person, and a good friend of mine. Please welcome to 10 p.m. with Galinsky, the wonderful Maryann Plunkett. Welcome, Maryann.
Hi, how are you?
Great, good to see you. How are you?
I'm okay. I thought we got disconnected. I had a moment of panic. I saw the thing going around. So
we're good. I'm going to start off by shouting out a few people in the chat room. Fran Fried is here. Michelle Marbury is here. Some of these people you might know, some might not.
Hi, Michelle.
Candice Denise and Turco Ono is a regular here.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is in the house? Charisse, Jack Fuller, Amy Alt.
Hi, Charisse.
Yeah, Bronislaw is here. Winnie Marie, brilliant young actress and singer. Elizabeth Harder, another great actress, up and coming. Michael Swiske, writer. Lance Cruz is here.
Lance.
Yeah.
I love all these names, actually.
I know, it's fun. I could just sit here and
they're all good names.
Run names all night. All right, so but instead of doing that, I want to ask you a couple questions to get it started. Last night on YouTube, something monumental happened, and you were a part of it.
Yes.
You and your company, your team, brought a staged and rehearsed show to YouTube through the Public Theater. What do
Richard
we?
Nelson.
Yeah, what do we need to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
And I just found out that last night you had 5,000 live viewers, and now you're up to 22,000.
Yeah.
Viewers. Incredible. So those of you interested, go to the Public Theater's homepage and you'll see.
And you can see it till Sunday at 7 p.m. It's only for the next few days.
What was the process like, both rehearsal and doing that live show? That was the show that you've done live, and now you took it to the internet. So how was that rehearsal done, and what was it like doing the show live on this digital platform?
It was probably, the rehearsal was probably as close to performing as anything, because we were just sitting at our table in our living room, Jay and I, and everyone else was sitting in their houses, and we had our little boxes, and we just acted with each other in our little boxes. So, and then when we did the performance, we just acted with each other in our little boxes. So it was, we did a little bit of with a lighting person help on Friday night to see what it would be like the nighttime, put up lights here and there. But other than that, it's just at home,
For those just joining us, people are dropping in constantly. Hi, Beatrice. Hi, Carolyn and Patricia. Patricia, a great old friend of mine. She's young, but she's an old friend.
Yes.
We're talking about the Public Theater's production of Richard Nelson's play, What Do We Need to Talk About, which is on the public site through Sunday and was live last night. Did you rehearse heavily for this online or no?
It was all online because we are all quarantined or whatever, isolated. And we only had, though, I think 23 hours to rehearse a brand new play. It's only an hour-long play, but our so we did in chunks of about 3 hours each day. We do about 3 hours.
In theater is one of your loves. So how was it relating to actors through these windows.
It was strange because I said to Richard this morning, it actually, when I'm thinking about it, I feel like we were in the same room together. When I'm, picturing the faces of the other actors, or even in rehearsal, Richard, as he's giving us notes, or the stage manager, Tess, talking to us, I'm picturing them as though we're just around a table. So
Yeah.
it was a very exciting and experiment, but I think it's succeeded. So
I think so too, because what's hilarious is I tuned in, or I logged in, whatever you want to call it, to watch, and the first minute and a half, I was like, oh, they must be just getting ready to do the show because they're just sitting around talking to each other.
Yeah.
And having this casual, relaxed, real conversation. And then the only thing that tipped me off was when one of the characters called Jay, one of the actors, Jay, Richard.
Yeah.
And I went, oh my gosh, they're in the play. So then I stayed till the end actually. And it was just wonderful to watch the calm, relaxed, just, it was effortless and it was beautiful. It was
we get questions about how much is improvised, because people think we're improvising, and it's like, no, that's Richard Nelson. He's brilliant. He writes stuff that sounds like it's coming out of people's mouths.
So what was the sound that came out of your mouth when you won your Tony?
I remember sort of shrinking into my chair a little bit, thinking, oh my God, I have to get up and talk, if I'm real honest about it. So that was my first reaction.
Well, if people want to look, if you go on YouTube, you can see Maryann Plunkett's acceptance speech, and you can see those great 1980s.
Yeah. Oh my God. I do remember though thanking my roots in New England, all the people who make up my roots in New England. I do remember.
What was that feeling like for you? Was winning a Tony like a goal of yours, or was it just a great byproduct from the work you do?
It was never a goal, because I was brought up in regional theaters, starting a theater camp, Portland Stage in Portland, Maine. I was one of the founding members when I was still in college and toured the state of Maine. And I like being part of a company. And as long as I was working with exciting people, and I was challenged, I was happy. I did not think, oh, I have to go to New York. Oh, I hope I get a Tony. I don't know what that means. It's great if your people can use it to get you more work, but it does not define or who you are.
So then from Tony, from that spectacular moment to this one.
Yeah, that was fun. What is it? The Next Generation. Yeah.
Star Trek Next Generation.
And I got to beam up in that one. That was, and I got to be thrown around, during, there was an incident between the two spaceships, or there was, I don't know, meteors coming or something. But what you do is they go, meteors coming, you go, oh, and go to the left, and then you throw yourself to the right and bump into each other, and it was fun, the beaming up and all.
More recently, you played Joanne Rogers in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
That's right. She is something else.
I met her a few years ago because I did a talk at the Fred Rogers Institute, and she was a firecracker.
Yeah, and she's 93 or 94 now. And I was just talking to her earlier today, and she watched the show last night, and she just has so many comments about everything. She's a remarkable woman. She's also a concert pianist, which you might not know. And I have a couple of her CDs. She did four-handed piano, really great.
So when you're working, when you're acting, and sometimes you got a character you get to create from scratch, but then sometimes you have to base it on a live character. And I'm asking this for those young actors that are out there right now listening and watching. What's your approach? And you're not the scientist here, but what's your approach when you're sitting with her and you're trying to get a feel for what you're going to bring to the character from meeting the real person?
Well, especially with Joanne, because I met her, I went over to her home, and we had a lovely just time with each other. And we sat at her piano because I had to play a little bit for this also. And it was just trying to find like her spirit. what her essence is, because I did not want to try to do an imitation of her. There was no need to. It's the same as Tom Hanks did not do an imitation of Mr. Rogers. He tried to get, I think, the essence of him. And I read the biography in which Joanne is figured very highly. And so I was able to I liked her immensely and hoped that I would be able to touch on something from her spirit. So.
Well, you're fortunate. We're all fortunate that she's such a dynamic person, because
yes,
probably made it a little bit easier.
Oh yeah.
For those of you just joining, we're talking about A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the film that Maryann played Joanne Rogers, Rogers' wife. Welcoming Diane Lieb into the room.
Hi, Diane.
Thought she'd sneak in quietly, she says.
I saw you.
Ricky Fritzen's in the house. Tammy T, another actress up and coming. Mike Schriebman is in the house.
Hi, Mike.
Another actress. Katha Cato, a great director and the producer of the Queens World Film Festival, is with us.
Welcome.
Destiny Gay is with us. J.O. Sanders is in the house.
Hey, you know what? I don't like that man. Is there any way to keep him off?
No, there isn't. So you're an East Coast actor.
Yes.
And, you're not like you're a successful East Coast actor. Did you choose to stay on the East Coast? And if so, why on the East Coast? And what is it about being in New York that is your home base that you like as an actor?
Well, I'm an East Coast actor. I'm also an East Coast born individual. So I was born in New England, up in Massachusetts. So this area, northeastern United States, is my home. Being in New York, I was in Boston. I toured the country. But New York is my home, and the grittiness of it is what I like. And I'm a theater. I love the theater. That's my heart, is the theater. And I mean, LA has its fine points, yeah. But I just I always say I feel like I snuck in through the back door in my whole career. That I didn't come in with savvy or cool. I didn't graduate from the coolest place. I didn't do this, but and the East Coast and New York sort of feels more like me than LA. Oh, aren't I cute?
You haven't changed at all, Maryann. It's incredible.
The what?
You haven't changed at all.
Oh, no, not at all. Oh, my God. But look at those gloves. I think that I still have those gloves. I think they'd probably still fit me. They're so big.
Are they Mickey Mouse gloves or gardeners?
Well, no, when I was that age, everybody, all little girls had to wear white gloves every time you went to a function. This was father-daughter day at my school. That's my dad. With a bow tie.
Candice Denise has our first question out of the chat. What were some challenges you faced as a woman getting work, and how did you maintain the motivation to continue when times were uncertain?
I mean, luckily parts are usually divided. If there's a part for a woman, there's a part for a woman. I think the question more precisely is, if you're a certain type of a woman who has a certain type of beauty or a certain type of glamour or a certain type, there are doors that open to you. When you're I grew up immensely shy, painfully shy. I could not even speak in classes, but to enter into a world where it's all about meeting people and being there. Those were my biggest challenges. Once I was on stage, I felt like I could do anything, but to get there, to break through that fear of the shyness wall was a huge challenge for me.
And how did you do it? Because you obviously did it. I mean, was there a moment?
There were people who were very helpful to. I mean, my mom really got me. Even though she and my dad did not want me to become an actor, but when I was little, she got me interested in theater. She took me to theater. I became in high school and a teacher, Mrs. Martin, and it was like drawing me out, and I just friends, and I was fortunate. I think everyone, you have to have good fortune. You have to have somebody who looks at you. Geraldine Fitzgerald, wonderful Irish actress, Wuthering Heights. She was the woman in one of the women in Wuthering Heights. She brought me to New York, actually, and she believed in me. And I didn't even know what was going on. She brought me here, and I think you need someone who believes in you.
Stick with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Noelle Hannerfield just dropped in. Heather Prescott's here.
Wow.
Janie Meadis is here. Rosita's here.
Hi,
Excellent.
Rosita.
And Diane says, interesting that you were shy. Yes, I think so.
Well, and it's not were, I still am. Shyness is not something you outgrow, really. It's something you can learn to live with. You learn how to get around it and accept. So it's funny.
So let's look at a couple more pictures here that we've queued up here. This is some of the Richard Nelson stuff, correct?
Yep, that's one of the Apple Family plays. Yeah. I don't remember which exactly. What did that person do to me? I was like, whoa. Oh, that's the Family Fang, the opening at the Tribeca Film Festival.
So you've worked with a lot of interesting actors from,
yeah,
from Robin Wright to Martin Sheen, Michael York, tell me some of the, and not the names I just mentioned necessarily, but just who are a couple of people you like working with and why? What makes it fun to work with particular people?
Well, I mean, so many. Many of the people I love the most are people that you probably have never heard of before. I mean, my best friend Seal Mann, who is a superb actor, and we were together founding the Portland Stage Company. And the adventures we had, the growth, the learning from each other that my favorite leading man of all time is a man named J.O. Sanders. And I think I'm having an affair with him, but
I'm going to out you guys.
He's really good. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Well, besides the money.
And Laura Linney, I did Seagull with her many years ago. Michael Stuhlbarg, beautiful actor, and and a good person. Christopher Walken from Family Fang, he was such a gentleman and kind to me. I really liked him and enjoyed working with him.
Comments about shyness and not changing and not outgrowing, but managing and believing.
Managing, yeah.
Get a note. Heather Prescott said, "Thank you. That resonated. Thank you for sharing."
Yeah, you have to. It's people who stutter. Because I was studying communication disorders at one point, and I remember one class, and our teacher was a stutterer, and what he taught us was, he said, "I will never not be a stutterer. I have to learn how to speak around my stutter." And I think that same way with shyness, that I will never not be shy. I have to learn how to live around that shyness and not let it rule me, that I will rule it. So.
I'm going to go back into the chat here for a couple questions or answers. Candice, who was asked that question, says, "Thanks, that answer means so much to me, having people that believe in you along the way."
Mm-hmm.
Well, Destiny Gay asked, "How did you get around it?" I have shyness issues as well. I think you answered that question completely.
Well, yeah, step by step, just. And
Heather Prescott takes another takeaway is cultivating community love. Laura Gastile just joined us. Katha Cato, who is the executive producer of the Queens World Film Festival, says, and is a great actress and improviser herself, "Have you had to take direction that was not something you believed in? Did you dig down and find a way to deliver it, even if you didn't believe in it? Or did you find a way to make it truthful for yourself?"
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I'm sure. I've been so lucky over these past few years to be working for so many of the shows with Richard Nelson, and I love him as a director. But yeah, there have been times, directors, that you think, I have no idea where they're going. And I think the job of the actor is you have to find a way to make it true. Whether you don't agree, because you go, well, it's not my direction that I'm not directing this piece. So if I'm going to play this role, I either say, well, I guess I can't play this, or I go, all right, I'll put myself in this director's mindset and find a way to live it, to live the part.
Zulima just joined us. Turko Ono wants to know, what was your earliest acting experience? Was it while growing up in Lowell or college? What was the part? Do you remember?
My very first, we're not talking professional. My very first, I was, I think, 4 years old, and it was a Christmas pageant, and I was on a stage, and I had I can still see it, a nightgown with little red stars on it, and the big girls at my school came out as angels and sprinkled sparkles on my head. I thought this was the most magical thing that had ever happened in my life.
What a great way to get anointed into the theater. Like,
yes, no, it was so magical.
Great. Let's look at a couple more pictures. These are a few that you actually shared with me. So I'm going to cue those up and let's take a couple. Look, this is you and Tony Randall.
Yes, little hotel on the side, National Actors Theater. It was fun. It was a real slapstick. I got to do pratfalls, which I'm now paying for in my hips, and I have a herniated disc. And at the time, it was, look at me fall. I'm so good at this. And it was now, all these years later, I'm crying. But it was great fun.
People don't really even know who Tony Randall, who he is.
People don't know him. Well, even from The Odd Couple, they.
Well, I mean, just to, and also I also think that for me, growing up, not until later on, but it was The Odd Couple. That was Tony Randall.
Yeah. And that's still on. I mean, like on Adult Swim or something, isn't it? I think, yeah.
Oscar and Felix.
Yeah.
I have a Tony Randall impersonation from that show. Oscar, 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 Oscar. And then Jack Klugman says, Felix, Felix, Felix. But Tony was a huge theater person,
Oh, yeah. No, he supported theater and started this theater, the National Actors Theater, on his own.
Sunday in the Park with George.
Yeah, that was with Harry Groner and Barbara Bryn and Pam Burrell.
We've seen this guy before. He just keeps showing up.
He does. He's handsome. There's The Road to Mecca, Athol Fugard, Teresa Wright. Beautiful. She was in Pride of the Yankees. She won an Academy Award for that. She was a life, she was like my theater mother. She became. And this is Agnes of God, Diane Carroll and Geraldine Page, which was
Broadway or off-Broadway show?
Broadway. That was on Broadway. And I did the national tour also. That's also Agnes of God. We have St. Joan with Jay Dunois.
Incredible. What's it like working with your loved one? I know you guys you've been together for a long time, and you really do love each other. I know you guys personally. And what is it like? When does a problem exist professionally, though? When does it come up? If it does come up when you're working on a play in a production together?
It never has. And we've done a lot of stuff now, and it never has, because I think we respect each other so much. We might not agree with each other. We might have questions, and there'll be a little, what's that? Well, I don't know, this, but it passes. It's just, I can't think of any other guy that I'd rather be doing a show with. And he's
wonderful.
Yeah.
And for those of you, I had the wonderful experience of working under Jay's direction with my show. And then I was also fortunate, Maryann, with her blessed heart, reached out to me and said, I will help you run lines if you need it. And I took her up on it, and we ran some lines. It was great, which leads me to a question that's in our chat that Luisa, by the way, says, I love the pictures. Rosita has,
thank you.
Rosita wants to know how long it takes you to learn the lines before a show and a monologue, and maybe you can give us a quick technique tip.
Well, I think it depends on what type of lines they are. I mean, some lines are easy to learn. Richard Nelson's lines are notoriously difficult to learn because he writes the way people speak, that you be taught, and then you change tense in the middle of a sentence, or you change the thought, you interrupt your story, you just didn't pick it up. He's notoriously difficult. In fact, every rehearsal period, can I curse on this, or is that wrong? I can curse?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because there is at one moment in which every show, at least one of us has to turn. You're struggling with the lines. You turn. You go, "Fuck you, Richard Nelson," and he sits there, and he's very disappointed if he doesn't get at least one. "Fuck you, Richard Nelson," And we tell new members of casts as they're struggling, going, "I'm never going to get this. I'm never going to get this." And we go, "Just look at him and say, 'Fuck you, Richard Nelson.'" And once they say it, the ice is broken, and he's happy, and they know, wow, it's all right. It is hard. This is hard. And, but I will get it. So.
It's a point you make, because it sounds, Shakespeare has got such specific language, and some playwrights have very specific, but the way you're talking about Richard Nelson's being so conversational, I really understand, like, that actually might be harder to learn.
Yeah. And people interject, it's not, there are speeches, but in the conversation, people are interrupting each other, and then you pick up a story 5 pages later, and but everything has to be a process. You can't go, "I'm going to open this book and now my lines are memorized." You have to have a process of, what is it about? Okay, I know it's, this is the part where I'm talking about the dog, and something about the dog goes to the store, and then I do this, and then the next day you go, and you get more of the words and the specificity of it. But I couldn't. Maybe some people can. I could not pick up a script and say, "Okay, I've memorized the lines."
We're closing in on the 10:30 mark, and this is the half-hour show. So I'm going to ask my audience: should we go into overtime or not? If they are into it, are you into it?
Sure.
Like 5 or 10 more minutes. Diane Lieb has a question, and I want to welcome Keith Davis into the room. Keith's with us now.
Hi, Keith.
Keith, let's see. Diane says, speaking from a business perspective, is it distracting or stressful for the actors to consider the financial viability of the theater group?
Of the theater group? What?
We're talking about the group that you were in, that you had created a group. Maybe Diane, clarify the question one more time. Rosita has a follow-up. Do you practice every day at rehearsals, memorizing the lines?
Well, if you have a long rehearsal period, you can absorb. We tried, I know Jay and I, we both go in trying to, if you have enough foreknowledge of the play coming up, to go in with at least, you don't go in completely raw on a rehearsal. Try to go in with knowledge of, okay, I have the story in my head. And if you have enough time, you can actually go in with lines learned. The danger of that is that you're making decisions beforehand, but it's nice to have it that, at least for your character, that you have a feeling for where you think you sit.
Rosita has a question. I'm going to answer it. Did you start at theater first before you did film? And yes, theater.
Yes.
And again, for those of you who didn't catch this earlier on, right now on the Public Theater's website, the Richard Nelson play, What Do We Need to Talk About, is running there till Sunday night. So you could see Maryann and Jay and some other wonderful actors and actresses in that. It's got 22,000 views already. And
I know, it's so exciting.
Since
last night.
Incredible for live theater. Hey, John Harris, he just joined us. B. Kim Taylor, who's also a great writer and lives in your neighborhood right down the street.
Yeah, hi neighbor.
What was your favorite role? She wants to know.
That people ask that all the time, and some of the cliched answer is, well, that's like asking who's your favorite child. It's I've loved all the Apple Family plays. I played Joan, St. Joan, 3 different times. Elizabeth Proctor and The Crucible, I loved. Me and My Girl was, because it was totally out of my comfort zone, Me and My Girl. And Sunday in the Park with George, certainly. All
right, it's 10:30. I'm cutting you off. It's time to kick overdrive. And the way we do that is to get to know a little bit more about you. I want to play a little game with you. In this quarantine, have been in my house, and I'm noticing I got so many different things and half of them I want to throw away, but then half I cherish. So I'm going to show you 5 objects that I just randomly picked up in my house. And I'm going to ask you to tell me your feeling about what you see, or a story, something quick. Before I do that, though, I asked you to pick up an object to get us started. So why don't you show us your object and tell you what it makes you feel, or if there's a story behind it.
Okay. And there is a story behind this. This was when Jamie was tiny, and we had a birthday party, and we found these someplace. I think they're old, and we had pictures of them. Well, just recently, I picked it up because, you know, we wear masks when we go outside, and I thought, and you see people on the street, and it's just, you go, hi, but they don't know what you're doing. And so I thought, well, I'll just, when I see them on the street, I have my mask on, and I'll go,
Oh, that's great.
and I'll wave, and it was a, you know, rescue vehicle was going by, and I saw a guy, and they was very serious, and I went, and the guy started laughing. I thought, okay, this is a good thing.
A great new trend.
Yeah, is that good?
Joe Senecal is in the chat.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Overtime. Maryann is our treasure.
Joe was one of Jamie's babysitters, and she's a wonderful actress and a wonderful writer in her own right.
Joe also says, J.O. Sanders is in your house? Get out of your house. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you my first of 5 objects. Your thoughts, feelings, or whatever.
Oh, home. You have one of those. Does it work?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Home. How pretty. Okay. Another one.
I couldn't see what that was first. Duck.
Duck. Get out of the way. This one can't really fit totally in the screen, but.
Oh, well, me, because I have been using a cane recently because I have terrible sciatica and a herniated disc. So pulling out the cane is sort of,
Use yours, you could borrow mine.
Thank you.
We'll call you Big Mary Kane.
Yeah.
Daddy Kane. A sequin shirt.
Wow. Elton John. Is that yours?
Yeah, I've got 3 of them, different colors.
Cool.
And that was number 4. And the final object?
Yes. Oh, my birthday. I'm a Halloween baby.
I was going to say, a ghost reminds you of your birthday?
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible. All right, cool. I like that. And I, you know, the phone, we saw an expression from you immediately.
Oh, yeah. No. So do you use that? Is that your phone?
When I had a landline, I used it, but I'm not going to throw it away.
You know, wouldn't it have been fun? Because I actually have from my parents' house, I have one of their old phones. Mine is tan. And wouldn't that have been funny if I had chosen to bring that out? We could have had a conversation.
The sound here.
Yes.
For you young ones, that's what dialing looks like.
And you couldn't, and you had to bring it all the way to that little silver thing, or it wouldn't be the right number. And if you paused halfway there, it would click in and you'd have to start over again.
Let's see, we're closing down soon, but Barbara Niebert is in the house.
Oh, hi, Barbara.
Welcome, Barbara.
She's a great artist, and she does illustrations that you send a scribble, a doodle in, and she will create a piece of art out of it.
Oh, brilliant. Jamie, this is in the house. She says she's a Halloween baby as well.
Oh, hi, happy birthday to us.
All right, so let's see. There's another question in here. Let's see. James, all right, Turco Ono says, if you could wave a magic wand, is there a role or a play you would love to do?
Someday, I would love to do Long Day's Journey into Night with Jay and Jamie, our Jamie. I would love to do that.
Great. Yeah. That would be epic. All right, we're gonna finish up with a couple more photos and a couple more questions. Let me queue up a couple photos here for everybody. This is something you sent me.
Yeah, it was from Lion in Winter. I was the young mistress, Allay. We
saw that.
Saw that.
Wait a second. Here we go. We go backwards here. I think I guess we saw a lot of these then. Okay, cool. So let's just brush through. There's a couple of surprises that I don't think you sent me that I found. There's you and B. Arthur, and
Barry Bostwick.
look at that. I yes.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And my best friend Seal made me wear. I mean, I am a person, I can make my own decisions, but she went with me. It's a Bob Mackie dress, and they were dressing me for this. It was the Irving Berlin 100th birthday celebration. Yeah, and look what happened to them.
Yeah, I know about this.
Oh, that's from the Aristocrats, Brian Friel. I had just been beaten up by my husband, as you can see. Tracy Sallows played my younger sister. Isn't it funny? It's like the Apple Family. There were three sisters in it. And Brian Friel has a similarity to Richard. And yeah.
Ed River just joined the room.
Who did?
Ed River.
Oh, hi, Ed River.
Ed River. He said, "So wonderful to see and hear you." So that must be a pseudonym. House of Cards. You were
yeah.
awesome in that, and I was like, when are they going to bring you back, like a season or two later, to kind of like shake her up, you know?
Well, I actually did come back the second season for one episode. They wanted more, but we were in the middle of I don't remember if it was Apple Plays or the Gabriels. And so I only had like a day off, and they said, all right, you can do one. I did one episode. It wasn't as exciting, but
I wanted you to come back when she was grown, to kind of like bring her back to reality.
Yeah.
But a good point that people need to understand. This is you saying, I'm not doing a major TV show that is super successful because I'm doing a play. I'm doing live theater.
Yeah. With my husband and with a playwright who is, one of the greatest playwrights, I think, of all time. It's certainly living playwrights, and the challenges, and so honored to be part of we're like part of his company, his repertory company. And it's very thrilling.
I think it's a good lesson for young people or anybody who's in this business to kind of see where their values and their priorities are.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be so much easier to go, yeah, I'm just going to, I got to get on TV. I got to get on this show. I want to secure my place.
One thing about that though, because when I coach young students sometimes, or when they ask, and like say 5 years ago, sadly, I was actually saying, maybe try to get on a TV show, because then you can come back here and they will cast you in a theater piece because you have a name. Right now, the one possible positive from where we are now with this virus going around and we're isolated, I think it presenting an opportunity for people to create their own content, to create something new, and maybe say, okay, here we're isolated. Well, Richard, what he created yesterday with the play, it wasn't a play that was done on Zoom. It was a play, somebody said, that used Zoom as the outline, as the set, as this. It used what was there. And I think that young people, or even old people right now, when we're in isolation, can use this time to say, what can I create? What can I make? And maybe once we're all out of this lockdown, we can bring it out there as opposed to being stuck in here.
You took some time off. We didn't touch on this when you had your son.
Yeah.
Tell us about how much time you took off, and the planning around that and whatnot.
I had done like 7 straight shows in a row in New York, and we had been trying to get pregnant. And I wanted time. I had a good, successful, wonderful career up till then. And I wanted to be able to raise my child. And Jay was doing a lot of movies at the time. And, you balance also in, well, how much money will it cost to hire somebody to take care of him? Well, what would I be making? It opened up for me. And I was very fortunate. I was able to do this. I did not have him when I was a young girl. I was, I make jokes saying, yeah, there was one egg left, and it's like, quick, hurry, we jump on it. But it was the best thing in my life. And it opened in me in working with children, did loads of projects. I mean, that's how we met at the elementary school, and doing, helping with writing and creating shows with them, the arts festival after 9/11, community, the sense of community. It was all stuff that was part of me, but I never would have. I produced the the arts festival after 9/11, and if someone had told me to do that, I go, I can't do that. I'm too shy. And I learned how to do that, and it gave me so many skills, and I think made me a better actor when I came back.
That time off was what, like that was about 10 years or how
Oh
many?
yeah, yeah. And I would do readings. I would go in that time. I would do a reading here and there, and
You weren't hustling as a full-time actress at
no,
all.
no, no, no. I was a full-time mom and teacher of kids. I did a lot of work at his schools. So
Couple of last final questions. And by the way, Crystal Laura just joined us. Spike Moran joined us.
hello.
All right. So has this quarantine experience upended or changed your thinking in any significant way?
Well, I've gotten a lot of paperwork done for sure. And I did a workshop of a new musical a couple of weeks ago, and then Richard's play, brand new play. But you look every night at 7, you go out and we open our window, and you can't even see the people, but you can hear them. Isn't that the weirdest thing? Because I'm looking at windows. Occasionally I see one person across, but I hear such noise and I'm going, where is everybody? I hear them and I can't see them. We are all so fragile. We are mortal, and we are here for such a brief time. And it's sort of, let's just, create and be kind to each other, and just acknowledge that our time here is short.
We have to we do have to show one photo of the greatest production you have ever created.
Yay! Yes, that's our Jamie. There's a curious incident of the dog in the nighttime.
He's killing it as an actor right now, from what
he is. Well, although they had to close their production down too, and he had to come home. But it will continue. More will happen. So.
Mary Jane Bujold says, "So good to spend this time with you." Thank you.
Oh, Mary Jane, she's my childhood friend from Tewksbury, Massachusetts. She's a great artist too. Wonderful artist.
Oh, great. Spike has a question. In quarantine, what have you been binge watching? Great question.
Oh, we've been binge watching. My Brilliant Friend. Have you seen that? Oh my God.
Told me about Italian, right?
Yeah. I binge watched in the early part of the quarantine. I was binge watching scary Jason Bateman, and it's basically, what is it? No, we have to start watching it. It's Stephen King, The Outsider. It's terrifying. We watched Unorthodox. So mainly those things. Oh, and actually Full Metal Alchemist, which is sort of anime, which it's very, very good.
Joe Senecal says, Maryann, you're a stellar human being. I love everything about you. Jamie's incredible. Jay's masterful. It's almost ridiculous. And
okay, we'll send you the check tomorrow.
Rosita wanted to know what theater will be like after the pandemic. I think we kind of went over that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, none of us know. So everyone just try to create and see if we can, maybe this is the whole new world that is opening up, and we don't even know what is going to come out of it.
To be opened up.
Yeah.
Last question I have for you. If you were not a Tony winning actress, you weren't a singer, a performer, what would you be?
I'd be a writer and a speech therapist. I did study some speech therapy, and I still dream. I make up stories that I'm going to be like the Grandma Moses of short story writers. That's my aspiration.
Thank you. Can't thank you enough here. This is so full of wisdom and heart and emotion. People are in the chat are also shouting it out. Barbara Thank you so much for the shout. I love the play. This is a wonderful interview. It
Yeah.
really, and I just to tweak Jay, this is better than Jay's.
He's sitting behind me.
Like this?
He's a little pissed, but not too bad.
Thank you, Maryann.
Thank you. This was so much fun. Thank you.
I'm going to shout out to my tomorrow night. It's a variety, and I've invited you. It's a variety night. I invite all the past guests from previous shows to come on. So who knows who's going to show up tomorrow, Friday night. And then Monday we kick off a new week of guests with Gina Rigolo and Romy Rosemont.
Mm-hmm.
Collected celebrity recipes.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you know Larry. He's a indie filmmaker in New York. He's incredible. Stephen Henderson is on next week.
Oh.
Brilliant Broadway actor.
Yes, yes.
And we're finishing off next week with Ron Kuby, the lawyer who worked with William Kunstler.
Yes.
Was mentored by Kunstler and takes on cases that nobody wants to touch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great week of.
That's a good week.
Yeah. And you finished off this week wonderfully. I hope you can come by tomorrow night and swing through. Everybody in chat is loving it.
Bye, everybody. Bye. This was so much fun.
Thank you. Love you. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Are you making me go away, or do I go away myself? Okay. All right.